Hello and welcome to another day on Cornwall Pocket Farm, where I try and figure out how to live sustainably on 300 square metres in the city. Today we're doing something completely different and I have to say unsustainable. And I should explain. When I went shopping with my family for my Indian saree for my daughter's Indian wedding, I bought a lovely wedding saree and absolutely gorgeous, but while we were sort of hanging around waiting for everybody else to get the outfits that they needed, of course you browse, don't you? And of course shops are incredibly good at making you want other things, and that's what happened to me. I have another saree. I go shopping to new shops very rarely, and one of the reasons is, you know, it takes an incredible amount of willpower to go shopping, see all these beautiful things and then not buy any of them. I failed. I bought this partly because it was labelled as silk and it was $35, and I thought that is amazing. Now I can hear you all saying in the background, that's too good to be true, and yes, it is. It was too good to be true, because I got it home and I did the burn test on it, and instead of the ash that I should have got from silk, I got nice little plastic beads. So this of course is polyester. So I should show you the fabric. It's absolutely amazing. Of course, with a saree what you get is like 5 or 6 meters of fabric, and it's just fabric. So I found this. I don't know if you can see. I mean, it's incredible. It's sort of Jackson Pollock to me. I mean, it just looks amazing. The print is a little bit offset as well, so it's not brilliantly printed. It's a little bit offset at the beginning. It's better further in, but all the same, the problem with it is that it's completely synthetic. I did have ideas of making an amazing skirt or a jacket or something out of it, but with it being polyester, I really think that I won't wear it, because synthetic fabrics are really uncomfortable to wear. You know, you overheat and they're sort of sticky. And so anyway, this has been sitting around since I bought my saree, and I'm going to an event tomorrow. My friend is having a birthday party for her house, and her house is 100 years old, which of course means that it was built in the 1920s. And the theme of the party, the fancy dress, if you like, is 1920s dress. Well, I don't have any 1920s type clothing, because, I mean, if you think about the silhouette of the 1920s, it was all about a very boyish figure, which I don't have, and then the emphasis was all on the hips, you know what I mean, straight down, and then sort of a band or some sort of scarf or something around the hips. It's not my best look, shall we say. So of course I don't have any clothing that basically gathers at the hips and etc. It's a boyish figure. So I found a dress in my wardrobe which is just sort of like shapeless, which I think will do the job, but it doesn't look very 20s. And I've tried tying something around the hips and it just, yeah, it really doesn't suit me. So I thought, could I make something to go over the top? The other thing with this dress is it's incredibly summery. It's a sleeveless, very flimsy white silk dress. So it really, given that we're now into autumn and it's not that warm in the day, I mean today it's drizzling and it's pretty chilly. On Sunday when the party is, it's supposed to be a bit warmer and the sun's supposed to be out, but yeah, it's probably going to be a bit chillier. So I thought, well, I could wear this dress, but then I needed something to go over the top. So I started researching last night and I came across this sort of wrap coat thing that was designed by a 1920s designer called Poiret, who is very famous. And it's actually, the outfit is actually in I think it's the Met Museum. I think it's in the Met Museum. I will obviously put the details on the screen, because in my mind I have a feeling it's in the Met, but may not be. Anyway, it'll be on the screen or in the notes anyway. And this thing is made out of one long piece of fabric. I happen to have one long piece of fabric. So I thought, why not try and recreate, well, you know, do my best to recreate this design by Poiret, 1920s, fits the theme. And I sort of thought maybe I could do a sort of a Cruella de Vil type inspired Poiret coat. That is the plan anyway. Now whether it will be a success, I don't know, but $35, I'm probably not going to do anything with it anyway. It will make, I think, quite an interesting video, and it will also give me something to wear to my friend's party tomorrow. And who knows, if I like it a lot, it is something that I could just waft around the house in. So I'm going to get on and see if I can figure out how to do it. Now, if you look at the video, I will link the video below this. There's a video of, I think it's a curator at the Met Museum, and they're basically explaining this outfit, and there's a little sort of graphic, 3D modelling graphic thing at the end, which is the useful bit to me, of how this thing goes together. So I'm going to be staring at the screen, trying to figure out how this works and how I can do it with my fabric. According to the curator, it has one seam. So I figure I could probably do one seam in a day, because I just have today to make it. From this and the general idea, which occurred to me last night, to a fully formed outfit that I'm going to put on tomorrow for the party, I just have the one day. So wish me luck and follow along.
We realize that what Poiret has done is taken one panel of fabric, about 15 feet long, and twisted it and connected it with just one seam, leaving openings for the sleeves, and ended up with a finished garment. On the one hand, it's elegant in the simplicity of its resolution, but on the other hand, it's maddening because you would never think to approach the making of a garment in this way before. Poiret has done something that is unprecedented.
I think it should be doable, she said. Anyway, let's give it a go. So is it stitched along there?
Seam, leaving openings for the sleeves, and ended up with a finished garment.
Yes, so there's just one seam there. From there down to there. Okay. Yep. Okay, I've got it. Let's try. I'll leave the computer there because I'm going to need to be able to see the picture. Now on these saris there is generally one end which is all print and lovely fabric, and then as you go down it gets simpler. So this is sort of got white dots, and then it's just got a border of a pattern. So I'm going to try, and then at the other end, right at the other end, there is this other fabric, which is, that's the blouse fabric, the sari blouse fabric at the end to go with this. I mean, it would look amazing as a sari, but I'm not going to wear, I have one sari which I'll wear for the wedding. I probably will never wear a sari again, unless it's another fancy dress. Okay, so I'm going to try and use, it's quite wide. I think it's wider than the fabric that they're doing the coat with. Because when you see the picture, her arms, the width of it, the width of the fabric, her arm comes out the other end, and my arm doesn't come out the other end. So I'm wondering whether, I want to cut this as little as possible, I'm wondering whether what I could do is actually just put it in half, and then, yes, then my arm would come out the other end. So I think what I'm going to do is just put it in half, and then I can keep this border, because it's got a navy border, which I think, I don't quite know where that's going to fall. I'm going to have to pin it together and see what actually happens, because it's a real mind bender, this design. Yeah, as they say on the video, it's not something you'd think of automatically. It's a real mind bender. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to put it in half, and I'm going to use this end. Right, first off, I think we need to cut this off, so that we've got a clean edge here to hem. That's the first job. Get a few pins. Now the video said it's obviously American, and they say about 15 feet of fabric, which translates, I think, to maybe about 3 meters. So I'm going to try working with about 3 meters, but it looks to me like she was a bit taller than me, and also that it trails on the floor, which may not be ideal. So hopefully with this type of thing you can make it to the size you need. One would think if it's one piece of fabric. Right, so if I want the stripy bit, and it it just all keeps falling on the floor. It's incredibly slippy, this. It's probably going to be a nightmare to sew, and I'll be really glad there's only one seam. Put the welt edge on the front piece like that and do a seam there. Or I could do it the other way and have the colour in here, which is rather nice, and then have the welt edge on the outside. If it's on the outside here, it will also go round the back by the looks of things, and you'll see the join line at the back. My head hurts already. I'll bring you back when I've made some progress in the thinking department. I have pinned it all together like it sort of looks on the diagram, not chopping it off, leaving that there. So it seems to have a sort of a long seam that goes along the back. At the top there's a sort of an armhole, and then halfway along there's a sort of another armhole, and then this is sort of all pinned together. Now I don't know whether my armholes are at the right distance apart, but anyway, we're going to try it on. Maggie's come in now, she's stuck in because I closed the door. Yes, you have. So that presumably then, I need to put my arm then in here. It could be a two-man job, this. Okay, I know, and there's the other armhole. Right. Okay. Technically, this should work. If I've got my armholes in the right place. Okay. Okay, so theoretically, I can't actually bring my arms round, which would leave me to suggest that I need more space between my arms. I do have things going on at the back, hopefully you can see, and technically it does come over the front. And then I think in the picture they have this sort of, there's like a connector piece. I might need to put some sort of little tie or a brooch maybe on there. But I definitely need to move my arms more. I'm feeling a little bit like a little bit dinosaur. So I need more distance between my arms. How would that work on the fabric? Going to have another go and come back to you on that one. The other thing, just looking at it, is that it's very white around the neck and all the colour seems to be at the back. So I might try turning that around so that I've joined the different edges as well. Okay, so I've turned it around and pinned the other side of the fabric, and I've made the arms further apart. Hopefully. Right, let's see if we can get this on. Put my arm in there, and then this arm. Yes, we have more sleeve motion. I can get my arms all the way around now, which is helpful when one holds a drink. I think could be too far apart now because my arms are not coming out of the holes. I think I like the colour here more than the other way around. I think I need to play a bit more before I actually stitch my seams in, I think. I'll bring you back. Okay, I think we're almost there. I've got a bit more room, but I want to make the most of the fabric. I am happy with having more colour here and then the navy band coming around the neck, partly because if I do it the other way around, I get the navy band that comes through in this join that comes through the middle of the back. And I think the whole allure of the jacket, I think the allure of the jacket, to my mind, is that you can't see how it's constructed. And if I have that band through the middle, you'll see what it's doing. So that's why I like it this way. More colour at the neckline, and then the seam through the middle of the back is a little bit more, you won't see it as much when it's stitched. Okay, we have it. We have both arms out, and I'll put the measurements that I came up with actually on the screen, because that's probably going to be the best thing. I mean, I have short arms, by the way. So if you're planning to do this yourself and you have longer arms, then obviously adjust accordingly. But I have movement. I don't feel too much like a dinosaur. I can come around to the corner. Obviously it slips up, so that's plenty of action there. I think I quite like the back, and the back is sort of slightly lower. What I've done is, rather than scooching it onto my shoulders, I think what I'm going to do is put some sort of tie here so that it can sort of be a bit looser and drapier there. It also brings this back piece lower, which is more 20s silhouette, I think. And then I just need to chop off the length at the bottom and then sew it all together. I am actually going to have more than one seam because I've halved the fabric because it was so wide. I will need to obviously finish these edges as well together. How I'm going to do that, I'm not quite sure yet. And then there's the one seam on the back. And I've still got heaps of it left, so what I'm going to do with that I don't know. But I do feel that maybe some sort of headband would be the thing, very bohemian. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Right, let's get to stitching. Okay, so as you can probably see from the light level, it's a lot later now in the day. I have stitched all of this together. Oh, slippy fabric. It has driven me insane. What was going to be an easy job is actually taking quite a lot of effort. But anyway, I'm just about to stitch the navy edging together because remember I doubled it, so I need to now do a bit of an overlay there, and thought it would actually be quite nice to have something to tie it closed. So I have just taken some fabric, you know, from that, it's the blouse part of the saree, which is sort of like contrasty. So I've just taken some of that, and I'm just going to do a very simple sort of tubular tie type thing, so I can just do a bow tie. And of course I need to put that in the edging before I stitch that down. So that's the next piece that I'm doing, and after that should be complete. Oh no, I've just got to hem the bottom. Hopefully I can finish it today. It's getting very late now. Fingers crossed.